Welcome students. In this topic, you are going to learn to perform and check closed corner joint on mild steel MS plate 10 mm thick in flat position by GMAW process. At the end of this exercise, you shall be able to prepare plates to size 150 mm length, 50 mm width and 10 mm thickness. Set the corner joints in flat position and tack weld. Weld using gas metal arc welding. GMAW process. Inspect for surface defects on the weld and bead appearance. Now, let us look at the tools required for performing closed corner joint on MS plate 10 mm thick in flat position by GMAW. Steel rule. Ball peen hammer. Half round file. Tri-square. Tongs. Chipping hammer. Steel wire brush. Personal safety equipment. Key or spanner. Helmet type screen. Angle grinder. Gas regulator with flow meter. CO2 gas heater. Shielding gas hoses. Welding power source. Wire feeders that ensure constant speed and voltage. Supply of electrode wire. Welding gun. Shielding gas cylinder CO2. Now, let us look at the pre-welding preparations for performing closed corner joint on mild steel MS plate 10 mm thick in flat position by GMAW process. Wear protective clothing. Use plain goggles while grinding and welding goggles while gas cutting. Cut the plates by gas cutting to size 150 mm length, 50 mm width and 10 mm thickness. Deburr the edges using grinding. Check the squareness of the plates. Clean the surface of the plates by carbon steel wire brush. Set the plates as corner joint. Set the GMAW machine with torch. Use 0.8 mm dia mild steel filler wire. Set 90 to 100 amps current. Corresponding wire feed rate and set 19 to 20 arc voltage. Tack weld with minimum 10 mm length on both ends of the corner joint outside. Clean the tack weld. Since the CO2 welding process does not have the ability to remove many impurities, it is very important to clean the mill scale, rust, paint, oil or grease from the plate surface. Now, let us look at the welding process for performing closed corner joint on mild steel MS plate 10 mm thick in flat position by GMAW process. Keep the tack welded job on the welding positioner so that the welding can be done in a flat position. The gun is held downwards to weld in flat position 1. Weld the root run of the corner joint using 0.8 mm dia mild steel filler wire. Use stringer bead welding technique. Clean the bead using a carbon steel wire brush. Deposit second run using stringer bead technique covering root run. The torch has to be paused when reaching the bottom toe of the weld for a short period so that the undercut, if developed, at the toe is properly filled with filler metal. The torch movement at the edge of the top plate of the corner joint should be so controlled that the edge is not melted off. Clean the bead using carbon steel wire brush. Deposit the third run similar to second run using stringer bead technique. Maintain a uniform travel speed for the torch to get the required bead reinforcement, height and appearance. Clean the bead using carbon steel wire brush. Inspect the weld for any surface defects. Now we will look at the important points to follow for performing and checking corner joint. On mild steel MS plate 10 mm thick in flat position by GMAW process. Caution: to avoid edge of the plate melted off defect, reduce the arc voltage by 1 volt and the current by 5A from that used for the root run. Use the anti-spatter spray as and when the torch nozzle gets clogged with weld spatters. Note that if this is not done, the wire feed may be irregular, causing unstabilized arc, and the CO2 gas flow will not be uniform, causing atmospheric contamination of the weld and porosity. Ensure proper root penetration and even fusion of plate. Avoid undercut in bottom plate of the job. Leg length of plate thickness 10 mm is obtained. Use tongs while handling the hot job. Let us see the defects now. Spatters. Edge of the plates melted off. Blow holes. Excessive reinforcement. concavity, let us do a quick recap of what you have learned from this topic. Prepare the plates to size 150 mm length, 50 mm width and 10 mm thickness. Set the plates as corner joints and tack weld. Weld using by gas metal arc welding. GMAW process in flat position. Inspect for surface defects on the weld and bead appearance. Thank you, students. Let us meet in the next session.